one of the most famous psukim in our parsha is said every morning when we enter Shul, Matovu alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. How beautiful are your tents, Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. And this is a very famous pasuk. And the question that arises, the Reb Shlomo Luria, the Maharshal, one of the greatest poskim 400 years ago, asked, he says, why do we use a pasuk that Bil'am HaRasha said about the nation of Israel as an opening to our prayers every day in Shul? Couldn't find any better verse, I don't know, something from Tehillim or something else. And the second question is, truthfully, the simple way of reading the pasuk is not talking about a shul, it's not talking about a place of prayer. Matovu alecha Yaakov, Bilam sees tents. He doesn't see a shul and doesn't see a Bet Mikdash. So why do we use it in context about a shul? And I think the answer is very simple. The Torah Tmimah already points out that the terms Ohel and Mishkan are interpreted a few times by Chazal as referring to places that have sanctity to them. When we say the Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim, Yaakov was a person who was dwelling in tents. Chazal explained it wasn't just he was sitting in a tent and not hunting deer out there, but he was actually sitting and learning. He spent time developing his spirituality sitting in a tent. And the word Mishkan, obviously, Mishkenotecha, Mishkan obviously reminds us immediately about Shekhinah, about the dwelling, not of our own personal dwelling, but about the dwelling of Kadosh Baruch Hu among us. That's a Mishkan. And the message behind this is that these two interpretations of tent and yeshiva or shul or a spiritual place of dwelling, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there, is not far-fetched. Because the message that Chazal are trying to teach us is that the shul and our spiritual life should not be detached from our home. It's maybe not a surprise, it shouldn't surprise us that a shul is called a Beit Knesset. It's called a home that we gather in. It's a place that we're supposed to be comfortable with. We're supposed to feel comfortable with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it's supposed to be a direct continuation of our home. A person gets up in the morning, and the first place he goes to is the shul. And it's a direct connection between the two, and we need to feel at home in shul too. Maybe that's why people sometimes feel too comfortable in shul, maybe talk too much or behave not appropriately. But you know what? It's part of what we're supposed to feel, is that looking for the spiritual and finding the place where we connect to Kadosh Baruch Hu as a natural continuation of where we live in and an integral part of our life. It's our second home, so to say. And that's why the pasuk Matovu Alecha Yaakov, referring literally to our homes, also refers to the shul, because they both come together. Shabbat Shalom.